Hey guys, it's Isaiah. I was gonna make a more scripted video, but I decided after recording and deleting a bunch that I'm just gonna make a chill explanation video. So this is Narrator Engine. It's a game engine to make narratives-driven games. Think The Beginner's Guide, Dear Esther, Gone Home, games like that. So this is some of the code. I'm making this video so people can learn how to use it because it is it's not complicated, but it's a pretty in-depth game engine. I used GitHub Copilot to code, but I designed the whole game myself. Local. If I play it, here is it. So the engine, it has two modes. So you have your free flying camera, which if you hold down right mouse button, you can look, WASD to move, control to go down, space to go up, scroll wheel to zoom in fast, and if you hold down shift and move, you can have a little speed boost. So there's two modes. There is edit mode and play mode. It's very seamless. So if I were to click new scene, so if I were to go into a new scene, I can add a cube and place it, and it places very well. You can go on the sides, but you can never go, and it won't duplicate in the same space. And the preview follows the cursor. So if I were to make this have a collider, and I went to edit and play mode and ran into it, there is collision. You have the ability to place multiple objects on top of each other on the sides, And then you have the asset browser, which this is a new project, so there's no assets. So what you're going to do is you're going to browse for the asset. Then it can be in multiple supported model file extensions. And then you click model, and it will auto put it in. So I will open another one. So I have imported a custom model, and what we're going to do is place it. So I have a person, and pretty much there's an issue with this, but it doesn't really relate to it. But yeah, so I can add as many as I want, and they are collidable. Here, let me take the screen shake off. Okay, they are collidable, and now to select an object, all you have to do is left click, and then when I go in the game, it's like this. Shadow support's coming soon. So then I can implement some volumetrics, which I think is cool. And then when you delete all the lights, it goes back to the original lighting. So now on to particle system. So here you can save the scene, refresh, close, or close. So then you can go back to the project that I was working on. And here I'm going to make a particle system. So to make a particle system, all you have to do is make it a trigger, and then add particle system, show particle, or spawn particle, and then you can make it so you can actually make it so right when they spawn. And I can add a cube, and I can make it, and I can add it here, and then when I start the game, it'll do that. But if I want it to not happen immediately, then I can make it so once I enter, it'll start the particle system. So the particle system has a few different features. So you have the emitter ID. You have different ones. So if I want sparks, a spark will play. If I want leaves, see, some leaves appear. I can make blood. So yeah, and then you drag in your object, and you can actually make it so the trigger is the one that does the particle effect. It's like if I do fire, it'll do it in the middle of the trigger. which is cool. And so you can make custom settings for the particle system. So you can do min size, which I can make it huge particles. Okay. I can make the lifetime smaller or big. I can add gravity. I can make a lot of emissions, a lot of emitters. I can preview it before I run the game. I can change its speed. So yeah, that's pretty much it on the. Oh, I can add colors, so I can make it like a gradient, which I think is pretty cool. So here's the animation system. Here I'll make a custom animation. So if we scroll down a little bit, we have the animation editor, which I'm going to create a new animation. We're going to call this test. It's going to be for 2 seconds. We can make it once, loop, ping. So loop will loop, ping pong goes back and forth, clamp forever. So once it hits the end of the animation, it goes back to the first frame, and that's where it stops. Clamp forever makes it so when it hits the end of the animation, the object will stay where the last frame was. So then we click use selected, and now we can add a track. You got rotation, position, rotation, scale, color, flow. So we're going to do position. You select the track you want, and then we can move it like this. You right click to add a keyframe. So now it's going to smooth. There's a live preview. If you turn that off, you won't see it, but when you turn it on, you will. You can preview it on target. You can test the bob to make sure the animations are working. And you have to use use selected. You have to click use selected with object and clear, and then use selected. So yeah, and then I can say. Then you want to save it as you want to save the animation to a file path. And then now if I go to animation, you'll see that I have that. So if we make a trigger, and then I go over to action and create an animation, which play animation, and then I drag and drop the animation I want. Then I drop the object. It will automatically choose. I can do the playback option, so I can make it so it'll stop, pause, resume. I can force it to loop. I can load from file, but it automatically does it, or it should at least. So you have to go under quick selection, select animation. You have to go to the animation you want. So now it will play the animation. You have to remember to go under quick select animation. I'm probably going to change that though in the next edition, but I can change the speed so I can make it happen really fast. And another thing you can do is I can delete this. I can go over here and I can autoplay an animation, so it'll automatically play and it'll loop. I don't have to make it loop though, but it can. And yeah, so you can trigger animations. Now I'm going to create an inspectable, so I'm going to make a new one. I'm going to make a letter because I don't want to upload an image. This can be test, and this is okay. And then I can add an image. I can add an audio. So now there's 3D inspectables, which if I create a what I'm going to do is I'm going to import a model, and then what I'm going to do is I will enable it as a spectable, and then I can have the description. This is a test description. And then now when I go up to it, I can inspect it. It's a pretty cool little thing. If there's color, it'll show color. These models just don't have color right now. So now there is a fog setting. So I can add an action. So I can delete this, and when the player enters a trigger, I can make it so I can add an action to set atmosphere. So I can type in a preset name, and then when I go into the trigger, it'll change. So I can make it eerie, or normal. Yeah, so it's just a little something, you know. So there's also skyboxes. So what I can do is go into the skybox settings. I can make the solid color a gradient. I can make a cube map with presets like sunset. I can make a panorama with like sunset or clear day, and I can make none. So for the first game I'm making in this, it's going to be a gradient, but it's all going to be white. So when the player walks in, it's like all white, which I think is cool. Now you can set the player's attributes. So I can make it so they can't move. You can make it so they can't look. You can make it so they can't interact. You can add the head bob, the idle sway. I'll show you the idle sway. It sort of just, see, if you can see closely, it kind of moves it. And you can change the FOV, so I can like make it like that. Now it's crazy. You can change the move speed, so I can move fast. The mouse sensitivity. So you can actually change the player attributes, like move speed. So when he touches that, I want him to move really fast. See? So I'm not slow, I'm normal, and then once I hit the trigger, I'm really fast. Here are some of the other actions. So let me just delete these. So show subtitle. You could stop the audio when it hits a trigger, stop audio. Set flag if flag, so you set a variable. So I showed you this, you set a variable on the trigger and the next variable, if it's triggered, it'll trigger. Load scene, you can teleport the player. You could just teleport them to a new location. There's a fade screen, so if I walk in, it fades the screen. And you can also change them right here. It's not as pretty. So then there is spawn particle play animation. You can set an object's color to change. So if I drag and drop the cube, I can make the color change to red. So now when I hit it, it'll change to red. And it changes back when you go back into the editor. And then there's a scripting also. You can actually write your own code, which I think is really neat. So here is a quick overview of the shortcuts. So Control Z, Control Z undos, Control Shift Z redos, also Control Y redos. Quick save, if you want to save, you click Control S, or you can go here and click Save Scene. You can create more of it. Yeah, you can also delete it if you mess up. The asset browser has drag and drop for most of the features. You have your recent projects. You have error validation. So if you make an error, usually it'll tell you what your error is. here's a cool thing. You can make it so let's say I want it to show subtitle for 3 seconds, and then wait will wait. It'll wait to do something, and then I want this object to change colors. Then I can make it so this hue changes to red. Now what'll happen is, since it happens one after each other, that'll go 1, 2, and it turns red. So if I turn this off, what'll happen is it'll just happen all at once. So I think that's cool. There's wait and delay. So that is the program. I will play through a little scene that I made. Let me close out of this project and go here, and then go here. So this has a spinning animation. There's a bunch of triggers you can expect. If you trigger this animation, this moves, this particle effect happens. And if I go over here, and then it goes to a new scene. So yeah, so I really appreciate you guys watching this. It was a lot of fun to make. Like I said, I used GitHub Copilot, but I designed everything myself. Every piece of it I created myself. I designed it myself, so all of the abilities that this engine can do, I created. Yeah, so I really appreciate you guys watching, and yeah, cheers.